Number 26, accepted positive personal feedback. Oh boy, this was a really, really hard one for me. My therapist was concerned with my inability to see that I had value and that the world was better because I was in it. I truly felt like I could die and it would have no effect. I have often felt that I was just taking up space and not really offering any value being here. She had me contact a random selection of my friends and acquaintances to ask them how they would describe me. I had to just say thank you and could not counter back. Normally, I would be self-deprecating to get the focus off me and make me less uncomfortable, which of course makes the other person feel like their opinion doesn't matter and they feel sad for me. So that sucks. Just say thank you. Oh God, this was brutal. I asked one friend face-to-face, and that was awkward and cringy. I asked Rob and Molly. I asked a various group of others through Facebook Messenger or text. The replies were unbelievably kind and beautiful. I cried. I read and reread them. I thought of all the ways they were wrong. I cried some more. I thought, I wish I knew the person they see. I wish I could see what they see. I realized how years of verbal abuse throughout my childhood especially caused me to not know myself and caused me to not be able to see the truth about who I was. I only saw what they told me. They were the voices in my head distorting my reality. And so this was a way to get a new message in. This was a way to accept that my abusers didn't know me at all, that they had their own reasons why they were cruel, but it had very little to actually do with me. Many of the people I asked had known me for years, had seen me go through life-changing events, and had been alongside me in my marriage and raising my daughter. None of my abusers had. Why would I keep their destructive beliefs about me and discount the people who really knew me? Why were their voices so loud? Why did I continue their abuse long after they were gone out of my life? Yet the people who I love and whose opinions I value and trust, I didn't believe when it came to this part of me. I accepted their feedback, and I worked really hard to hear it. And now I'm kind of a monster. I walk around saying, I'm a hot bitch. I don't need your compliments. I know I look good, etc. My daughter said, there's that lack of gray area again. Sometimes bravery is seeing yourself in a new way. Episodes of Broken to Brave are released every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me on this journey of healing and growth. If you want to go deeper into this story and hear it from a spouse's perspective, my husband and I have a Patreon-only show where we have an extended, behind-the-scenes discussion of every episode, which also posts twice a week. Here's a sample of our latest Patreon-only companion podcast. But I still just couldn't accept it. I could say thank you. I could understand intellectually these people that, but then having to cross-reference and go, how many people said this? How many of them said that? How many of them? And it was like, do you see that every single one said all of these? Like, that's not imaginary. They don't know each other. They didn't all confer.
Right.
And you went to people who have known you in all different parts of your life and all different, some were Rob's friends, some were both of your friends, and then some were your friends alone. And, but it still took me so long to be able to not let the other voices drown them out and not let the ones who I've been letting in my head all those years. She's like, do they know you at all? I'm like, no. Did they?
No, they didn't.
They don't. They didn't even know me when I was a kid.
No.
They only saw what they wanted to see.
Right.
And they
built a narrative around that. We've seen this. We saw this as adults. They did it to me. They did it to Molly.
Yes. And I remember one time
we watched them do it to each other.
Yes.
If you had one infraction, if a kid at 2 had one infraction that they wouldn't eat the peas for the rest of their lives, you're a picky eater.
Yeah.
And you don't want to feed
peas.
them. You're the worst.
Well, and they hate peas, and it's like, no, they don't.
It was a 2-year-old.
Okay, I want to do a couple of song lyrics, but
Okay.
but I remember one time as an adult, we were living in Minneapolis.
To hear the rest of this episode and get other exclusives, become a patron to Broken to Brave at patreon.com. You can also follow my blog at brokentobrave.com for even more insights and engaging content. Links are in the show notes. Broken to Brave is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted and written by me, Martha Southgate. Thank you so much for listening. Now go do something brave.